Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? Thank you for watching. It's a beautiful day out, perfect beach weather, sunny, no wind, a little chilly. Technically I should be wearing a jacket, but I'm fine as is. So last night I was doing some volunteer work, primarily postcards, and it was doing a DNC watch party. And I haven't seen the entire DNC, from beginning to end. I've only seen snippets of it from some of the other previous days. And my overall feeling is that the energy was just phenomenal. Okay, it was really interesting to watch. Okay, I didn't see every single speech. There's a whole lot going on there. One of my biggest takeaways were pretty much Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, and they both pretty much took jabs at Donald Trump. Especially Michelle bringing in the comments about black jobs and everything. Years ago, she always used to have that saying, when they go low, we go high. And after a while, that just used to make me cringe, because after a while, that didn't work in 2016. It's not going to work in 2020. Here, I think she's learned from that, and she actually, decided, you know what? I'm at least going to take one glove off and just take a few jabs. Metaphorically, of course. And Barack Obama was also pretty clever to hint on the whole crowd size thing, giving a wink, wink, nod, nod to a certain thing that just absolutely gets under Donald Trump's skin. And he couldn't stop complaining about it. He's still whining about the whole crowd size thing and everything and stuff like that. But also from the Bill Clinton talked about the age thing and some other things. Jasmine Crockett was there too. And I even asked a friend, I said, Kamala Harris or Jasmine Crockett, who would give Donald Trump more of a run for the money? I honestly believe it's Jasmine if she was running for president. Don't get me wrong, Kamala's strong. But I think Jasmine is just a little stronger, and she has a certain edge to it, and she knows how to play the game, and she does a good job of it. We've seen her rip apart MAGA numerous times in past gatherings and town halls and stuff like that. So, and I don't even remember the word she used, something like vindictive, vendetta. She was playing like the V-smart, and it was just amazing, like I said. Again, there was just so much going on, it's hard to know what to talk about at once. I could go for it day by day, but I just suggest watching it on your own. If you're a diehard Trump supporter, obviously you're not going to do that. That's fine. But there's something else that's coming up in the election, and I still say the same thing, There are no guarantees as far as a victory for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, even though they got strong policies. Tim Walz brought a lot of energy, when he gave his speech, also policy focused, but I would say it is still not a guarantee. If you're already donating, great, keep donating. If you're doing volunteer work, great, keep it up, okay? I'm doing that. And if you're somebody who's thinking about volunteering, what are you waiting for? We don't have a whole lot of time here, so make the effort. And I'll talk about that at a later time. But there was something else, and it was also related to Project 2025 about Trump freaking out and his lies coming out. That is still a threat, and that is a threat to all of America, which is why I stand opposed to it, okay? And I still get some criticism from Trump supporting friends. That's just the nature of it with the whole politics. And I try and be diplomatic. Sometimes I just don't answer because either I don't have the time or we go through the same back and forth all the time, and it just gets a little repetitious and counterproductive. But the one thing I asked a friend is that when Kamala Harris wins and defeats Donald Trump, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? Now, we know Donald Trump is going to scream foul and everything and stuff like that, and voter fraud. Yeah, what else is doing? Part of it, one, is, are you going to go out and commit acts of violence? That would be foolish and futile. I'm talking about realistically, what do we do together as the people, okay? Because the one thing Trump did was play into the whole division thing, divide and conquer, all right? It worked in 2016, but not in 2020. Now he's trying to do the same thing again. He's only focused on his core base. He doesn't really have any policies to move on. And mostly what he's just saying is divide to divide. The question is, do we learn from that? And the one thing I believe we should do, and that is find ways to work together, all Americans. I know to some people, especially far-right MAGA voters and stuff like that, that can seem a little counterproductive or even counterintuitive, but we still are all in this country together. We're maybe not, when I say in it together, not under the same exact circumstances. Some of us have more hardships than others. There are some problems that don't affect us at all, but seriously affect other people. We shouldn't just disregard those problems. Everyone likes to say, I'm voting for myself. Okay, I get it. But every time I vote for a candidate and stuff like that, or I'm in support of certain laws being passed, it's not all about me. When Tim Walz did the free school lunches and breakfasts, that was a good thing. That was a really good thing, especially in stark contrast to some lowlife like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who passed a law loosening restrictions on child labor laws, which you could see the before and after when she was there signing the bill and Tim was signing the bill, how the children were reacted. They were all warm, loving, and appreciative towards Tim. They kind of looked at Sarah coldly, like with some, they weren't amused. In fact, some of them looked scared. Okay. The point I'm trying to make is, I don't have kids. That doesn't benefit me in any way. And yet I still support it. Why? Because it's a good thing that can help a lot of Americans. And when we work together helping each other, that's fine. Not just our actions towards one another, but also towards politicians. Like, how do we learn from some of our mistakes? Like it or not, Donald Trump could win. I'll leave it at that. Okay? I don't want to seem like I'm being overconfident, but he could win. Hypothetically, what would I do if that happens? Well, I'm not going to scream foul or voter fraud, unlike that's how the right would do. I would stop and think, okay, Trump is the president again. What are we going to do to try and stop the progress of Project 2025, which he is going to try and initiate? Would it be an uphill battle? Absolutely. Would I suggest getting violent? No, not at all. Would I say we should protest or find ways to keep that from happening? Yes, within the boundaries of the law. Okay? But I'm not talking about violence or revolution or everything like that. But we do have to learn to work together. If you're someone that when Kamala Harris wins, and she's the first woman president, she's now officially Madame President, are you actually going to think, what is she going to do to help the American people? Are you honestly going to focus on her actions and be open-minded about it or objective? Or are you just someone that's going to have the white gloves on, and every time she makes a mistake or the slightest thing that goes wrong, you're just going to put all your emphasis on that because in your mind you're saying, I want Kamala Harris to lose. I want her to fail. This way we can say, told you so. Well, then you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. You're not working together. You're just looking to win an argument, and what does that get you? The DNC talked about hope. It talked about change. It talked about progress and everything. All the RNC convention brought was a lot of just hate and all that stuff. You saw signs saying mass deportations. Well, the border's a problem, and we should work to solve that. Yes, we should vote on bills to solve that, if it comes down to that. But there was legislation that was ready to be passed, but for all the MAGAs on the right, your little golden boy said, no, I don't want that. Okay? I need something to run on. I don't want to give Joe Biden a victory. Okay, back then it was still under Biden, not Harris. Well, that should tell you one thing. When you go to vote, Biden was trying to solve the problem. Trump was not. Biden was ready to move on a solution. The GOP wasn't. The DNC was ready to solve the problem. But Trump said no. Your guy said no, which means deep down he doesn't care about solving problems, which is another reason why you shouldn't vote for him. I'm hoping you'll reflect upon that. And supposedly, in regards to Gaza, some have mentioned that supposedly Trump was in talks to not having a ceasefire. I'm kind of speculating there. But the point is, one is trying to solve the problem, the other one isn't. So when Kamala is trying to solve problems, are you going to be on board with it, or are you just looking for her to fail, okay? When Donald Trump won back in 2016, one family member who was a supporter of him said, give him a chance. And I've talked about this. I've even said, I want to see him succeed for the country. But that didn't happen. He failed, okay? I did give him a chance. So that's why I voted against him in 2020. Again. That's why I'm going to vote against him in 2024. Because he's not the person that's going to do the job. He's not going to unite us. We need to be united. And in doing so, moving forward, what are we going to do to work together? Now, there were things I did, like send letters to the President Biden, early on about certain changes, especially regarding Gaza. Did those efforts have an impact or an effect? Maybe, maybe not. But it was at least something I did. Okay? I made certain donations to charities to help the people in Gaza. I'm just using that as an example. On a whole, what do we do to work together? I don't fully know. But I do know I want to see Kamala Harris succeed for the sake of all of America. And I want us to see us united and work together and not be in opposition. I'm not saying we're going to agree on everything. Like the friends who are Trump supporters, I do talk to them, but like I said, it's on and off because, again, it gets a little repetitious. And sometimes they'll bring up the same points which I've already talked about, and I don't feel like repeating myself. Like, you didn't listen then, you're not going to listen now. But I'm still willing to talk. And it doesn't have to be Trump supporters that I know. It could be Trump supporters that I don't know. And I'm going to walk into that discussion and say, okay, we're not going to agree on everything, but we can find some common ground. And with that common ground, we can build on that moving forward under a new presidency. But how do we do that? How do we achieve that? And that's where I'm looking for ideas. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just saying, moving forward, that's my overall plan. I know it's just on the surface. It's painting a broad picture. It's not really going into any details because I don't have any specific ideas as of yet. But I do want to see us to work together. You could say there are certain charities we could support that could help the cause. I also say, in addition to voting, just don't vote once every 4 years. Vote in the local elections. Get the right people in charge that have proven track records to bring about change. And if it's not a really good and a really bad candidate, then okay, go for the lesser two evils, okay? I've had that in the past where, there's one candidate that I know is going to do real bad things, and there's another candidate who will do better but is kind of flawed, but will do better. So I went for the better one. I'm looking for ideas. I'm looking for feedback. I'm looking for people to give me suggestions as well, okay? Moving forward, we need to work together. The DNC convention shows they have the energy to do that, okay? The RNC convention did quite the opposite. It's just a lot of racism, a lot of hate talk. It's just more division. We don't need that. We need to unify. Get out and vote blue, please. And then after that, when she wins, ask yourselves, what are some of the things that we can do to work together? I really want to hear your feedback on that. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I really hope you understand.